Asia's economic transformation over the past 60 years is unprecedented, with the 21st century being described as the Asian century. As the region's economy goes from strength to strength, we will also witness the supercharged growth of the real asset sector in Asia-Pacific. And this is why we're seeing real asset investment trusts, or REITs, being launched, and REIT regulations being enhanced in the region. This expansion of the securitization trend is inevitable.
Real estate is a very complex business. It requires a lot of coordination between the stakeholders, which is the government that regulates the environment, the developers, the investors, the firms which actually use the real estate, and you have various challenges associated with it. At APREA, we listen to each of those stakeholders to ensure that we advocate to the government and bring about a constant change that is needed in this very complex business.
By opening the door to constructive dialogue between the government and the private sector on the reform side, APREA has been at the forefront for making the private sector work with the government, both in terms of policy making and in reforms. And we've seen various successful examples of that across Asia.
APREA has been at the forefront of our advocacy efforts with the Ministry of Finance and the securities regulator SEBI in India. As a consequence of the fantastic efforts put by the team at APREA and of course the industry leaders who are part of APREA here, we have a fabulous set of regulations which has resulted in multi-billion-dollar InvITs and REITs being listed in India.
InvITs in India weren't too popular until about a couple of years ago. Thanks to all the efforts last year by many stakeholders, notably the APREA India team, the product is well understood now.
Many governments around the region are increasingly placing a high priority on REITs because of their significant influence on long-term economic growth. In Hong Kong, APREA has provided valuable inputs to the recent amendments to the REIT Code. Many of these amendments, as proposed by APREA members, were aimed at facilitating the growth of the Hong Kong REIT market.
APREA has been working closely with the Chinese government regulators over the past years to build a REIT regime. And finally, the first REITs pilot program in China was announced in 2020. APREA will continue efforts to assist the Chinese government to enhance the REIT framework by sharing its extensive international REITs knowledge and experience.
The COVID-19 shock also provided a glimpse of what a better future could hold for Asia and the real asset sector. The temporary reallocation from energy-intensive sectors such as airlines and transportation provides an opportunity for capital to flow to more productive and cleaner sector.
Environmentally friendly business practices with a socially responsible approach and good governance have been our core priorities, and we are committed to continually evaluating on how we can achieve more.
With the exponential growth of ESG investing, sustainability has become a mainstream global agenda. Our APREA Sustainability Committee is dedicated to engage and empower our members to integrate ESG into their businesses, holistically embracing global goals and best practices into their growth strategies and investments.
The securitization of real assets is a worldwide mega trend, and Asia Pacific is well poised to be at the forefront of this development. For REIT and infrastructure trusts, with all the exciting development in China, India, and emerging ASEAN countries, along with the world's second largest REIT market, Japan, we can expect to see a shift in the epicenter of the REIT world to the east. APREA is well positioned to drive that growth in the real asset sector through its core service pillar of advocacy, investor outreach, professional advancement and research, supported by an international network that connects all of its members to the rest of the world. We look forward to partnering with all our members to drive the future of the real assets.